Okay, we live and indirect. We are here, top shelf. We about to have a conversation. About to invite my homies and partners in crime, Anthony and Jeff, as well as two guests. Here we go. Okay. We are almost ready. We almost in there. We are almost ready to get it started. Send requests out. Sending my requests out. What up, man?
What's
Yeah,
going
man.
on,
In
Fred?
the studio. My family. How you been, man?
Fantastic. What's the word, Fred?
You know what I'm saying? I can't call it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it's good to see you, bro.
Yeah, good to see you too, man.
How you been? How you been holding up in NYC?
Oh, you're not in New York no more?
No, well, I'm still in New York, but I'm on the other side. I'm in Jersey. I'm in New Jersey. Jersey. No,
Ah, I see how this interview gonna go.
you know what I'm saying? No, I ain't choking or anything, but Jersey.
Yeah, New York has been New York for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
We getting back to normal, so
Right.
I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, Fred.
It's like not too crazy now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
After being on lockdown and stuff finally opening up,
I got you.
it's a
I got
different
you.
kind of animal.
No, I can understand that, man. It's different. How you been holding up during the pandemic? You good?
Yeah, man. Sorta. I guess you got to make like the best out of your situation and stuff like that. The pandemic been amazing to me, bro.
Right. I see
It's
you
been like
shining. Hey, Anthony, allow me to introduce you to my homeboy Jeff, who I do my podcast with. Not my podcast, our podcast with, Top Shelf.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of my co-hosts, and Anthony, this is my boy Anthony. We go way back from my HBO days.
yes,
That's what's
sir.
up.
Always
What's good,
awesome.
bro? How you doing?
Been on the Ellen
Fantastic and only
show.
improving, brother.
I
That's
love it,
it.
love man. Yo, thank you for joining us, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate it. I'm a huge fan, man. Huge
I
Thank,
fan.
love it. Thank you, man. We
we just
appreciate
wait
it.
for the other Anthony to get in.
Yeah.
And I sent the invite to your cousin as well. Oh, the other Anthony.
There you go,
So
Anthony.
Anthony,
What up?
Anthony,
What
I would
up?
like you to meet
What
Anthony because
up? What's
because
going on?
Anthony,
What's going
and
on, bro?
Anthony, this is my boy, Anthony. Uh, I used to work with him at HBO, and he's just an amazing guy, man. He supported me in parts of my journey as well as like I'm quality supporting him. He has an amazing podcast, Road to Victory, correct?
Yes, sir.
And
I love it.
yeah, man, he's been
We
on
gotta
the
come
Ellen
on one day,
show.
yo.
Word up.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
would love that. It would be an honor and a privilege.
I love it, man.
Woo!
Hey, the
I'm.
invitation is open, man. You just let us know whenever you're available. And we can definitely schedule you in.
Oh,
I
snap.
bet.
You know what I just figured out, y'all. I
Yeah.
I just figured out only three guests could be in the live room, but seeing as that Anthony is only gonna be with us for a short amount of time, we're gonna tap Kim in after Anthony. So we're gonna do our introductions.
No,
Um,
that works out perfectly because Kim, she texted me, my cousin Kim. She's just getting home, so she
okay,
said give her like, like 5, 10 minutes. So that works out perfectly, actually.
okay. So this is our first time going live as Top Shelf Podcast. So I'm excited. We glad to have a guest here, my boy Anthony Anderson, aka Diggity, aka Fantastic and Only Improving. My homie, glad to have him in the building, and it's just an honor, man. And Anthony was recently on the Ellen show, and Ellen,
Salute.
he was getting interviewed and he killed it. He's always been a
That's
positive
dope.
guy, and he's been my brother. You know what I'm saying? So we invite you to Top Shelf Podcast, and this is my boy Jeff down at the bottom. My boy Anthony Thompson.
Woo-hoo!
We in
And
the
today we
building.
have a topic on the table too that we want to
Mm-hmm.
talk about definitely.
Yeah.
So the topic is, because we know that you only have a little bit of time. The topic on the table is: do we prioritize chasing the bag, which is like getting money for those who don't know, uh, over our mental health and our happiness? You know, before we answer,
Whew.
I want to give y'all a quote. So I was just listening to Joe Budden podcast with featuring Cat Williams, and he was saying our society has elected worshiping the bag. You can't worship the bag and be on the front line waiting for the people. He said we all walking around with our individuality, but we get conditioned to do this yard sale, which we give up pieces of it, right? That individuality, and there's no way to do that and end up whole at the end. So he was talking about in reference to him being like Cat Williams, the entity by himself, like his jobs as opposed to working for like a corporation where like
Yeah.
they take his individuality and
Take
they
his
chop him up and
creativity.
make him something else, you know. But he was
That's
talking about
so good, bro.
that. But I want to put the question on the floor to you guys. Do we prioritize chasing the bag over?
Wait, bro. Wait. We gotta do something before we even
Oh,
start, bro.
I went in. My bad.
It's a top shelf tradition, bro.
Yeah, my bad. Oh, I forgot. We got to do
The
something before
prayer.
we get there. Yeah, of course, you already know what we
We
got to
don't we
do.
don't we don't move forward without a prayer because we got to make
That was
sure
my bad.
God's
My
presence
bad.
is
I'm
in the
erasing
building
A
and
all
He's
word,
in the
bro.
to all
mix.
my fans. I was Anthony Thompson for a minute. My bad. But we all fall down and we all get up. Okay, here we go. God, we thank you so much for allowing us to be on this live. For our special guest, Anthony Anderson. God, we thank you so much for him being able to tune in. Thank you for the conversation that we're having. Everybody that is listening and our other guests, Lord God, that's coming in later. And we just pray that you be in this conversation. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
So,
Amen.
so the question on the floor is: do we prioritize chasing that bag over our mental health and happiness? Anybody can chime in first.
Yo, let me say this first, yo. I love I love what you guys are doing. I love the topics that you guys talk about. It's so realistic, so authentic that everyday people go through. You know, so I
Appreciate
definitely
it.
appreciate and love that coming from you guys.
Thank
But
you,
you know,
Anthony.
I had to you text me that, and I had to read it like 100 times. I had to read it like 100 times, and it was like prioritizing money over mental health because I remember there was a time when growing up we didn't have money.
Fact. Straight up.
Me and my neighbors. If I had eggs and he had milk and I didn't have no milk, I would give him eggs for milk. You know what I'm saying?
Water.
And that kept us mentally stable. Even back in the days, like in the villages back in the days, if you had like the finest apples, you would trade your apples for like the finest of like linen or whatever commodities
Mm,
or goods. I think where money came involved, the capitalism and stuff like that, I think soon as the dollar showed value, for me as a kid and me uh becoming a man and started making money, I try to catch up to my childhood, like replace everything in my childhood that I didn't have. I try to acquire everything in my childhood I didn't have.
wow.
So
That's
so
good.
you know, but now as an adult, I know my mental health condition it runs on love. You know, it runs on love. You know, if I don't receive the right authentic love, I'm not mentally okay. You know, if I'm not able to give love out to
Mm-hmm.
the universe, you know
Mm-hmm.
that mess up my mental. So I just wanted to say that. I don't know if there was a, a definitive
Yo,
answer.
Anthony, I gotta ask you
That's
a
beautiful.
question.
You spitting bars, Anthony?
Woo! Yo,
Yeah.
Anthony, I gotta ask you a question. How did you
What's
get
up?
to that level? Like, how did you get to that level of this humanity?
It all comes from that realization of even so a dark place where
Mm-hmm.
you realize that you know that money everything you trying to get there's something that will always be left out. Like there's no ceiling to there's no ceiling to having things that you want to buy, things that you
Wow.
wanted. You'll always feel like something is still missing. You can have all the money in the world, you can have all the material things in the world, something will always still be missing. That's just my point of view.
No, that's true. I agree with that, man. It's like when you chasing that bag, it's almost like it's almost like a drug, and you
Yeah,
get addicted to it, and you feel like I gotta catch that next high, which means you gotta catch that next bag. Money is never enough. So to the point, you start sacrificing your own health, time with your family, time with your loved ones. You know what I'm saying? Times for you to actually do other things. I mean, you hear the quote saying that like real hustlers don't sleep. So now you're
right,
sacrificing sleep. In actuality, you actually need rest. If you don't get an adequate amount of sleep, that's your blood pressure. You know what I'm saying? You actually gain weight. There's all these different health complications that can be added to it. So we get so caught up chasing that bag that
Right.
we forget to take care of ourselves.
This is very, very great conversation. I just wanted to say the great poet J. Cole once said
Cold
I love.
world.
on the song "Love Yours." Good news is, nigga, you had a long day. The bad news is, nigga, you went the
you went
wrong
the
way.
wrong way.
Factory.
Thinking broke is better. And
Facts.
I mean, like
Factory.
he always in his raps, he always finds a way to get in there and like talk about wealth, right? But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, talk about how you need to appreciate those things in life more. Like value those things more than chasing a bag, because you're gonna realize in the end, I should have spent more time in that area of love and then working on myself than chasing a bag. The
Mm-hmm.
thing will come. I've heard so many
Mm-hmm.
pastors say like, "Yo, uh, if you're faithful with a little, God will make you ruler over much." So if
Facts.
we have to prioritize things like family, I think that's what the pandemic showed us more than anything. It's like we got to
Mm-hmm.
prioritize our health, prioritize family, and I agree with Anthony so much. Like when he was just talking about love, and he was just talking about how we bartered and how we traded things, and figuring out how money worked. Because I think a lot of times we chase a bag and we don't know how money works, so
Mm-hmm.
it works
Mm.
against us,
Very true.
and we
Okay,
wind up
friend.
losing more
I
money.
see you, friend.
You know what I'm
You know
saying? We wind up losing it because we don't know how
Mm-hmm.
credit
that
works. We don't know how to be
Mm-hmm.
financially stable, how to budget, and
Friend,
Mm-hmm.
talk that
like
talk.
I didn't know
Friend,
none.
talk that talk.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't know none of that growing
Mm-hmm.
up. So when I get into becoming an adult, like, oh, this is my first credit card in college, and then
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden,
And
I'm
that's how
like,
they get you.
yeah, I gotta pay this back. I do,
Yep.
like,
Wait,
Yep.
because we don't
that
know how
that
to
eight
work it.
hundred turned into $2,000. Something called
Mm-hmm.
interest.
Exactly.
And then what you start doing, you start working twice as hard just to pay off that debt, which
yeah,
Yeah,
means
the
that now you're taking
paycheck.
time away from other things that you can actually do. So it's like a cycle.
yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
a
And
vicious cycle.
And I wanted to talk to Anthony, speak to Anthony about like Anthony, you've risen to where you've gotten. Because I remember when we had our conversations at work, you'd be telling me how hard you'd be working, like going from this place to this place, all
right,
the things that would be happening, but you still kept this positive mentality. You still kept that mindset, and it's gotten you to where you are
Mm-hmm.
to rise above everything and to be able to, get other
Navigate.
opportunities. How has
yeah.
that been for you?
It was because I was working just to spend money. Like if you a lot of us say that if we wish we had more money, and we'll just spend it. We'll just spend it, whether like hanging out,
Mm-hmm.
drinking, or whatever our vices is, or sneakers. on sneakers and stuff like that. But it came to me where I had to realize that it was bigger than me. It was
Mm-hmm.
bigger than me. You know, you got nieces and nephews, and the fact that individuality, feeling like a human, knowing what it feel like to not feel important. You
Mm.
know, learning what to feel like to be invisible at a job where everybody has a life of their own, and you just want to make a small make a small impact. You know, by not just thinking about you. You know, asking someone how they is letting some inspiring someone knowing telling them that they're fantastic and only improving as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, that's
I love
incredible,
it.
man.
Wow.
That's really good. Like
Nah,
that's what you've always been, Anthony. It's like a big, like people could see you because y'all don't know this, but Anthony, how tall are you? Tell them how tall you are.
6'5".
Yep,
damn.
and it's up
Yo.
and it's up and it's up and it's stuck. He's a tall guy, so seeing him off like at first glance, people were like, "Oh snap!" But then you get to see him and talk to him, and it's like, "Wow!" Like this guy's like a breath of fresh air. It's like no matter people could be around him talking negatively, they could be talking this and that and all of that stuff, but he was always like this light, you know, around the people that he was around.
That's dope.
You
You
know,
know what I'm
I always thought I looked scary, so I had to, kind of develop a skill to come off as a
Ooh.
gentleman, and that's like
Okay.
a gift and a curse itself because, you wanna be authentic, and
All
Mm-hmm.
day.
you don't, but you don't wanna make people feel like they need to be comfortable. Need to be comfortable. Excuse me. They need to be comfortable around you. You know.
I got
It's
you.
like, it's like just going around making people feel comfortable around you instead of being authentic. So it's like half and half.
Yeah.
Yo, Anthony, I have a question for you. You talked about village. Do you think we lost that in the 21st century?
I don't. It depends. Some people. It depends on your lineage. Like, what are you
Mm.
taught generation after generation after generation? You know.
Mm-hmm.
I remember growing up. We were when it was dinner time. We all had to sit at the table. We had juice in front of us, and we
Mm-hmm.
could not touch the juice until
Everybody touched.
the
Yeah.
food was done,
Yep.
and we had to eat at the table as a family. But as we got older, the kids become grown, and they don't continue those same values with their kids.
That's
Mm.
So it's
good.
like
Point.
That's
lost
so
in the
good.
sauce.
Do you feel like Anthony? Do you feel like we distracted now more than ever? Is that why we stop carrying on those traditions?
Yeah, man. Like you said earlier, social media and COVID played a huge part on like human connections. Human
Mm,
connection. You know,
mm,
we we
yeah.
we basically just like autocorrect. You know, when it comes to like personalities and
Ooh, that's fine.
when it
Fine.
comes to like personalities and connecting.
That's absolutely true.
I
That's
like that.
facts plus tax.
Yeah,
So how do we
yeah,
get
man.
back? So, Anthony, we pride ourselves on solutions. So how do we get back to the table talk? How do we get back to building a village? Or how do we get back to um, being able to just have a conversation with your brother or the people around you? How do we get back?
As cliche as this may sound, starts one day at a time. I noticed our history showed us we always had one leader that created other leaders. But in
Mm-hmm.
society today, it's like one leader with a million followers, and then another leader with another million followers. Instead of instead of teaching us how to be leaders, how to lead.
Mm. So we're becoming
Yes,
more
sir.
followers than leaders. There's more followers out there than leaders.
And
And
people
it's and
and
it's
people are
and
quick
it's
to unfollow people.
Mm-hmm.
right.
It's
But
all about the trend, man. Everybody follows the trend. Nobody wants to break the trend.
Yeah.
They say what's easy to do is also easy to not do. So it's easy to
Yeah.
unfollow,
Yo,
easy
Anthony
to
got balls for days.
Bang, 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 bang.
Let me find you a rapper too.
Let me
Oh
tell
yeah.
you, we be
Mm-mm.
watching battle rap.
Me and Fred mixtape coming out soon.
You already know, dude. You already know. Call Anthony and Fred take the town. Let's go. So, Anthony, I wanted to ask you another question, if I may. Was like, so if we're talking about chasing the bag again, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like chasing the bag that played a part in us not going to the dinner table no more? Do you think it plays a part in the family dynamic? It's like we're so distracted about like I gotta get this money, I gotta get to this next point that we miss
Mhm.
out on stuff like on family events, all these different things, on everything,
I,
like all these different stuff.
I feel like it's all a mirage. You know, it's all like an
Mm.
illusion. It's all like an illusion, and it's been sold to all of us. But what has not been sold to all of us is becoming the bag instead of chasing the bag. Become the bag.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
you don't chase wealth, you procure it. You become it.
Facts.
You
Facts.
become a walking ATM. What about
Mm.
what? So, but to answer your question, leaving a dinner table to chase money. d- yeah, I think that is right because you gotta go hunt. You gotta go
Yeah.
hunt to eat.
If you don't hunt, you don't eat. So
Right.
we got sometime from my perspective, because we pride ourselves on perspective, truth, and opinion. We got to be very careful when we talk like this because if we don't hunt, we don't eat. And as men, we got to be providers. And
Right.
as men, we got to make sure that we put food on the table. So,
Absolutely.
but we can't make that normalize in regards to the house. We can't normalize all of that thing.
But
So we got to take that time out to say family is important.
the
I
one
mean,
thing I want,
it comes
oh,
down to a balance. That's the whole
Yeah.
thing. Because at the end of the
Absolutely.
day, you got to make sure there's food on the table. You got to make sure there's a roof over your head. You got to make sure that you taking care. You got to take care of. But you can't neglect also what's important, which is your loved ones. You can't neglect to go back again. Your health. Your health is important because at the end of the day, if you lay in a hospital bed because you out there grinding too hard, you're not making money. You know what I'm saying? Your family's not gonna be able to live and see you. So there has to be a balance. Why you out there grinding? Why you out there chasing that bag? Why you out there trying to become that ATM? Just like what Anthony had stated, you gotta balance your life. You gotta
mm,
know it's like, all right, get to the point where you have accumulated enough wealth, where you sleeping, you're making money. While you spending time at the
But,
dinner table, you're making money.
I
yeah,
love it.
but at the same time, it's like how high is your morals and values? Like
Woo! Yo,
if you
Anthony,
get to a certain point, are you willing to walk away because the bag is interrupting your morals and values?
you
come
know who
on,
walked away? Remember who walked
Exactly.
away? Dave Chappelle walked away.
Dave Chappelle.
Right,
Yep,
Dave Chappelle
right.
is a
he walked
perfect
away dozens of
example
times.
of who walked
Hmm.
away and knew
Absolutely.
his work. And I think
Right.
when we get
Came
to a
out on
point
top.
and he came out
Yep.
on top, they had to, like you said, he became the bag to Netflix came to him and gave
Yep.
him more money.
Because
And
that.
his whole family backed him. Not just people that are, why Dave Chappelle did that. No, it's about his mental health.
Because
It's
I
about
want.
even down to that tennis player, and I apologize, I don't remember her name. She said,
Oh,
"No, I'm not going there today. I'm
You
not
gotta put
going
respect on her
to."
name.
I had definitely, and she had to tell herself, like, you know what, my mental health is important.
mm-hmm.
But you
Yeah.
see how they bashed her.
Mm-hmm.
They don't.
Right.
Sometimes you could be in environments where they don't care about your mental health.
Yeah.
But that's
So
the
you gotta
thing.
be very careful where you're around. Who do you talk to? Because you could be talking to a wolf, but looks
Yeah.
like a sheep.
Talk.
But that's the thing. That's what you
Thank
gotta
you,
realize.
thank
What you
you,
gotta
sis.
understand and what you gotta realize is that you can't put a price tag on your health.
That's
Health is wealth, like we always say. So at the end of the
Absolutely.
day, if you're not taking care of yourself,
Right.
Yeah.
then it doesn't matter because when we're speaking about, like, say, Dave Chappelle for an example, the media is there to lift you up, but they're also there to bash you. Even people around you as well. You got to look out for yourself. You got to take care of your health because you can't make money again if you're laying in the hospital if you're 6 feet deep. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? You can't even enjoy. You can't even continue to accumulate health. So you got to take care of yourself. At the end of the day, your mental state of mind, your physical health, your emotional health, your spiritual health, that comes before any type of bag that you actually want to get. And God's going to make sure He's going to replenish and He's going to bless you with that bag because you're not idolizing it. Because we idolize that money so much that it becomes our God. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
We worship it. And then you gotta remember, we have a jealous God. So you're like, okay, you're not humble, you idolizing this money. So okay, I'm gonna take it away. I'm gonna humble you real quick. And next minute, you start seeing changes. So you gotta balance your life. You have to balance your health because at
I
the end
And
of the
I
love
day,
that. I
you
and I
can't
love
think
that.
avoid it.
I love
Fred said, you got to believe that the change is coming.
it. Yeah.
You
Word.
have to believe that the change is coming because if you don't, you're gonna go back into that doubt, and when you
And
go
I
back
love.
to that doubt, you're gonna act
Yeah.
upon the doubt, and when
I
you
love.
act upon the doubt, your whole world looks like doubt, and
And
you're
I
just in
Word.
a darkful place. So
absolutely.
I just want my TD Jakes, my fault.
I was
But
it too. I love the fact that you guys brought up Dave Chappelle. Like I love watching all his interviews because he's raw. He's real as possible. I remember when he had that inside the studio with James Lipton, and he was just talking about. They asked him about why he walked away from $50 million, and then he
Mm-hmm.
was like, "I started." He's like, "I started noticing things that was changing around me." He was like, "It was my show, and I didn't really have a say on certain things, right?" And then he was like, "You got to ask yourself, why would somebody make all this money, have all this platform, walk away from $50 million?" And he was like, "Sometimes
the
it's
mental
not.
health,
Y'all don't blame the person and point at that person and say, 'Oh, he's an idiot for walking away from $50 million.' Maybe it's not him. That's the one that needs the healing or whatever. I mean, it's just that his environment is sick."
mm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
So
it's the people around him. They don't understand. And because you don't understand it, it's not meant for you to understand at the moment. But now we
Mm-hmm.
understand it because we now see Dave Chappelle has an Emmy. Dave Chappelle got offered even more money. And he has all these specials on Netflix. And he's more relevant than he is now than before even he had the show.
One of the top comedians of our time.
mhm.
It's waiting it out. And like to
Mm-hmm.
Anthony, my boy Anthony's part, uh, like to his point, like become the bag. It's about becoming that bag. It's
Yeah,
about walking around knowing your worth, knowing that like they gonna come to me because I know who I am. They gonna come to me. They have to. You know what I'm saying? If I walk away from the table, they ain't gonna get another me. They're not gonna get another Fred. They're not gonna get another Anthony. They're not gonna
Know
get
your
another
value.
other Anthony. They're not gonna get they're not gonna get another us. You know, if we walk away from the table, Top Shelf Podcast becomes one of the #1 podcasts. But we start seeing stuff that ain't right. We got to make that decision.
so last question for Anthony because I know Kim is in backstage waiting. Um, so what's your final thought? What's your final thought in regards to this conversation that we're having?
My final thought, I think there's a balance. There has to be some type of fine line
Mm-hmm.
between being being mentally healthy, just being happy. Like a lot of times where we go wrong is a lot of people don't know what makes them happy, so they mentally
Ooh,
unstable. So I guess that
lactose.
love and discouraged, is a fine line that needs to be worked on. And what we just talked about, like you know, with that, it could connect to becoming the bag, and once you there, money shouldn't be a problem. Once you show the self love, the self worth, and know who you are, and mentally stable and where you're going, the money will come. You'll attract the money.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But
Absolutely. Okay. Well, Anthony, we want to thank you for your time, bro. Thank you for taking time out to be a part of this this talk, our first Top Shelf talk. We really, really appreciate you and
Thank
your
you, Anthony.
opinion. We gonna definitely tune into your podcast, and we're gonna
Definitely.
make sure I go get some of that merch too. That fantastic and only
Yeah.
improving merch.
But
Woo!
before
My
Anthony
boy
goes,
is selling
Anthony, let
out.
him know. Let him
He's
know where they
selling
can
out.
find your
They're selling
podcast.
out. You know what
Anthony,
I'm
let him
saying?
know where you can find your podcast.
You want to plug anything, Anthony?
Yeah, my podcast, Road to Victory podcast. All you have to do is just type in Diggity, and it'll pop up when you search podcast. And my merch, fantastic and only improving.com.
All
All
right,
right,
man.
man.
To Anthony, to another Anthony, I salute you, King.
I salute you. I love this. I love this, man. We
We
gotta
gonna
do
have
this
you back.
again.
Yo, we gonna have
Know
more.
that.
You, brother.
We're gonna have meetups. Yo, we gonna link up, man. But we are so proud that we could have a conversation with you and make you a friend.
And we definitely gonna have you back, Ant.
All right, Fred, we gotta talk that battle rap too.
Oh, you already know what time it is. You know what time it is. I said, hey, yo.
All right, fellas.
All right.
Peace, bro.
Peace.
Yo, so guys, we are loving this. This is a conversation that we normally will have on a Monday at 6 p.m. Please do me a big favor. Go subscribe to the podcast, Top Shelf Podcast. Also, make sure you follow a friend. Tell another friend to come on down, pull up a seat, pull up a chair. Let's have a conversation. But yo, it's crazy. Because you know what I just thought about, bro?
What's up?
Fred, you getting Kim on?
Yeah, I just
Okay.
sent her a request.
Yo, so I run a program on Saturday.
There
Kim,
you
hey,
go.
how you doing,
My
Kim,
cousin Kim. So let me introduce my cousin real quick. So, Top Shelf, we have my beautiful cousin Kim. This is my big cousin over here.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? Thank you for joining us.
Good evening.
All the way down in South Florida. What up, Kim? What's good?
Kim.
What's goody? How are you guys doing this evening?
We're doing amazing.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I'm excited to be a part of it.
Hey, okay, so Kim, for those who don't know you out there for our podcast, what is your line of work? What do you do down?
I am a privacy consultant, so I work with a lot of major Fortune 500 companies, and we help them to basically keep their personal information from their consumers private so that they don't get breaches, because a typical breach in the United States will hit you about a minimum of $3 million. So we help to prevent that from happening.
I need what Jeff is drinking.
That's why I tell people I'm a superhero. I preserve your private information so it doesn't get out there.
Thank you so much for that.
Is that also intellectual property as well?
It just basically pertains to personal information, social security,
Okay.
home address, email information, all those things that you like to click OK on when it says, hey, do you want to give out your personal information and you really want to use that app and you don't read anything, you just click OK. We're saying, hey, don't do that. They're going to watch and track everything. That's why all those little ads pop up. When you say, I need Pampers from Target, and then all of a sudden Pampers pop up because you guys are giving away all your info.
Sometimes it feels like somebody's watching me.
Basically.
Yo.
They watching me, bro. They watching me.
All day, man.
So, Kim, welcome into the conversation. We had another guest host,
Anthony.
My boy Anthony, and we like to welcome you into the Top Shelf Talk. We're going to be doing these more frequently. So the question that we have, do we prioritize the bag, getting money, over mental health and happiness? We want to know your opinion.
I think African Americans do a lot, and there are other races that do it.
She started African American.
Listen, my cousin is always want to keep it a buck, man. I told you guys, man. Listen, we don't play.
Yeah, to keep it a buck, I gotta be honest. Let's go.
And I gotta be real.
I think you do that. I think you prioritize your happiness and your mental health over. I think you prioritize the bag over your mental health and your happiness when you come from a place of lacking. If you didn't come from a place of lacking, that wouldn't be a priority to you.
That's
Damn, it's only 10 seconds and she coming hard.
So, Kim, let me ask you, what do you feel like are some of the windfalls of like us chasing the bag over our mental health. How do we see that in our families and friends? Like, what do those windfalls look like when we do that?
We bring stress home, and we bring it home to our families, and we sometimes take it out on them
Mm-hmm.
instead of redirecting it maybe in a more positive direction.
Can you give me like? Can you?
A man will come home after having a long day, and he wants to know why there's no dinner on the table already. But his
Man
wife
or
has her
woman,
own
man
job.
or woman, man or
Yeah,
woman.
man or woman.
I just want to make
Just
sure
a
I'm clear.
man is an example, but he may not realize that a woman has her own job of taking care of the home and the children. So
Yeah.
maybe things aren't going according to schedule, and it may not be there right when you get home, but it'll be there eventually.
Yeah, because
Or
people we get so worked up when we're in a schedule or things being a certain that when one thing is out of alignment, we feel like the whole thing could be out of alignment. It could
yes,
ruin everything else, right? One thing bleeds into another.
I agree. I agree.
Do you
And
think that started in childhood?
Um, yeah, I mean, you watch what your parents do. So,
mm,
if they are struggling or maybe don't have enough, that may lead you to working a little bit harder to making sure that you can provide for your family and stepping up to the plate.
Anthony, I love that you brought that up because that brings me to this question. Like, let's say your parents are immigrants, right? And they come to America. This coming to America. I love that movie. But who
Great
knows?
movie.
They come to this country and their first thought in their head is like, I need to get to that American dream, right? So they work hard, they struggle, they fight, and they get everything they want. Chase, it's not necessarily only chasing the bag, but it's getting a career, getting established in America, whatever that means, making way for their children, and at the cost. But what is the cost of that for their kid? It's,
Lack of time,
mm,
lack of feelings and emotion. Um,
there may be a language barrier there as well, where
oh
it's
yeah.
like we're trying to understand English, and our kids already have an understanding of English, and now we're kind of like we really don't understand each other in this house.
That's
Like,
kind of how like my dad grew up because my grandfather was American, my grandmother was Dominican, and they grew up in Aruba and they spoke Papiamento, which neither one of my grandparents spoke.
mm, that's deep. That's deep. Another
So,
thing we were talking about too with Anthony, other Anthony, was like we were talking about how families are affected, and then he went into a session where he was talking about a village, and we were talking about how families don't necessarily do the dinner table thing anymore because it's like, hey, yeah, we're off distracted, and this is what it's done. Do you believe that chasing the bag can distract you from the moments that are happening around us?
I think it's an individual thing because you can chase the bag in different ways. You don't have to monopolize all your time doing that.
Yeah, you said monopolize.
Working smarter, not harder. Working
the
smarter, not harder.
chasing, I think
You
what's
can go
coming
get
up.
yourself educated and use your time more effectively.
So what's coming up for me as well, Fred? We're using like it's also sacrifice. I'm hearing a lot of sacrifice. Is that a bad thing? Because you got to sacrifice somewhere to get to a certain level in life. As you stated in that 10 seconds, African Americans, it's not placed in our hands.
Mhm.
So we have to put some type of sacrifice, maybe in our 20s or maybe in our 30s.
Right.
So do you believe in the sacrifice? Or
I believe I
yeah.
believe in the sacrifice. I don't know if it, but going back to what I said and what you just said is because we're more so African Americans. Because I don't believe everybody else has to sacrifice. I believe certain things are just handed to people.
Mm.
But for us, yes, there is a sacrifice. I've had to do the sacrifice myself. When I was a younger person, you can ask Jeff. I partied hard. I partied
Facto.
hard.
She was like,
But
I'm
I,
the
I, I
party.
sacrificed my wealth and my success. And then as I got older, I had to flip the script.
Mm-hmm.
And now I don't necessarily look at it as sacrificing, hanging out and all that, because I've already done it. It's no big deal to me. But, I do sacrifice other things in terms of trying to hire my education and secure the bag. Like you said, I'm always trying to I'm always trying to progress, not only as far as my career, but I sacrifice time when I research also to invest in stocks, or I research other opportunities to try and generate other streams of income.
Now, we talked about that with Anthony, and we talked about how, us as folks of color, how we are managing chasing the bag, but we don't understand money sometimes. So we wind up losing it more than we're gaining it in pursuit of the bag. Do you believe that to be true?
I do. We have to understand that there's a difference between being productive and being busy. Once somebody gave me this perfect example of.
Kim, I'm sorry for cutting you off. Can you say that again for the people in the back, the productive and busy line? I need to hear that one more again.
There's a difference between being productive and being busy. Okay, we can be busy all day long, and that doesn't secure an additional dollar for us. But when you're being productive, you're either learning more or you can be making more. Now, one time somebody gave me this example of putting a little piece of food. Let me see, how exactly was it worded? There were some ants, and they were going around in a circle trying to get to this piece of food. And they were able to get to the piece of food, and that was being productive. But when they took the piece of food away, the ants just kept going around in a circle. And that part, they're being busy. They're not getting anything from it. They're just, reenacting the same thing over and over and over again.
That's deep. I like that.
Not only that, but you have to know the difference of what is a liability and what is an asset. So
isn't that what I always say? I always say that assets versus liabilities.
I see where you get it from.
Listen, man, I told you we don't play.
How do you teach financial literacy and mental health at the same time? Can you?
How do you teach? I mean, I'm sure it's possible. I'm not the expert on that.
She said, "I'm just here to protect you." People looking, people watching.
It's all. I mean, for me, it's an individual thing. I mean, there are times when I stress myself out more than others when I'm trying to learn something, but I also try to take in to the aspect that, look, I got to enjoy my life also. When the clock is done, I'm done with work. I may move on to something else that may generate me money, but I try to, compartmentalize things and know that there's a time for relaxation and enjoyment as well.
So what's your definition of mental health?
I mean,
or self-care?
You have to know when to take a step back and say, I have to recharge my battery. I can't keep on giving and giving and giving to other people. Not only that, but I need to know when to treat myself, because we can't look at others and, be mad at them not treating us exactly the way that we want to. We have to know, okay, well, let me go get myself a massage, or let me go pay for my hair to be done. It may not be, the $60 that my boyfriend gives me. Maybe I want to go get some fancy stuff done. So I'm going to go ahead and pay for this, or treat myself to a piece of jewelry or something that makes me feel good and helps not only to feel good, but I have to take the time to rejuvenate also. And take a step back and know, okay, well, I can't do this for my dad because right now I need to, I need a nap. That's it.
Dude, a nap can solve a lot of problems. Let me tell you.
And it's okay, and I think we sometimes get so pressured in regards to saying, hey, it's time for me right now. My mom, dad, it's time for me. Families, it's time for me. Kids, hold on. Okay, it's time for me.
That's right. I'm a firm believer of, taking some time. I don't have children personally, but taking some time away from your spouse, your kids, your this, your that. Go have a couple of days to yourself to just know what I'm about, because you can lose yourself in the midst of all these other things.
Wait, you think you take time from your spouse? Like, if you go to
from everybody. I was born by myself.
Don't get in trouble. Don't get in trouble, Joe. Don't get in trouble.
No, that's so true.
If you don't want your wife to get sick of you, maybe you let her get a couple days off of you, and let her do her, and then she come back and be like, "Oh, romantic and boot up with you." You know what I'm saying? You gotta let people.
I'm with it.
I
I'm
know. I
with
hope she does this.
Yo, that's like
bring that old thing back.
yo, you right, Kim. That so many gems. There were so many gems in that. Like I feel like if we don't take that time, we gonna do some time. I mean that just came to me. Like for the people in the back, if you don't take time, you gonna do some time.
You're gonna increase your stress, and
Yeah.
if you have a reasonable, family and partner, they'll be able to understand that.
Absolutely, and I think that's one of those things that I had to learn. Like, cause for me, when I was dating before I met my wife, like I was like, yo, I can't deal with the neediness, like you on my neck, like every 5 seconds. Like I was like, sometimes I just need a time to chill with my boys, or
Mm-hmm.
to go out and just like walk.
Mm-hmm.
Balance.
Size. I need to have my time, and if I don't get that, I'm gonna wind up like
You're more stressed out.
Yeah, like I always say, there has to be a balance. It has to be balanced with your personal life, your romantic life, everything that you're doing. There has to be. If you're giving too much to anything, something is going to suffer. So there has to be a balance.
Or something is gonna snap.
Yep.
Facto.
And like I said, man, like I think within our culture too, like I think too, we talked about the internet too, and how social media how it plays a part in us chasing the bag, because a lot of people will compare. We compare our lives to other people as well, so we think that makes prioritizing the bag even more, because people have lives that we want.
Mm-hmm.
So we think the grass is greener, but we don't know what that person is actually struggling with. I said this to my wife like a couple of days ago. I said, hey, like, I feel like social media, like Instagram and all that, is like a pseudo resume, but it's not a mirror.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be. Like, it can't be, because pictures we see happy. We always see happy. Nobody takes a picture frowning, unless they being silly.
Mm-hmm.
But like, Kim, let me ask you: do you feel like social media has really distracted us from what we need to be doing or what's going on?
Social media is a huge distraction.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole bunch of BS. Okay, everybody just posts all the great things about their lives. They don't show the reality of what's going on in their lives. They just show all the glossy, glamorous things.
Absolutely.
And it leads us to live into this fantasy land if we are not careful, and it leads us to try to emulate and try to achieve things that those people are not even achieving.
Because what's the deep? My question is, where's the depth of that? We see people, celebrities get married all the time, and then they're so beautiful. They spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on a wedding to get divorced in a year. So what did it mean? They're making a mockery to me of marriage, because I grew up not seeing it. So then I place a value on it, because I see my grandmother and grandfather. I mean, not seen them, but I know that they were married for 40, 50 years, and now this person is just like, I'm gonna get married. because that everybody doing it.
Yeah, well, people need to know how to not idolize celebrities and influencers, because those are just regular people. They put their pants on one leg at a time. Their job is to make you want to be envious and to make you believe things that are fiction. And you got to just be smart enough not to believe that.
Yeah.
You got to join the rest of us in reality.
I totally agree with that.
As Anthony always says, we pride ourselves on solutions. And so, what do you feel like the solution is to this prioritizing placing the bag over our mental health and happiness? What is our solution? Like, what could we do to get better at going into the things that really matter, as opposed to chasing the stuff that really doesn't?
You need to figure out I heard Jeff say previously before I joined, trying to figure out ways to bring in money while you sleep. That way you don't have to be stressing yourself out about what's coming in. It's a good thing to have multiple streams of income. That way, you know, if something falls by the wayside, you still have other things that are producing for you.
Good.
That's so
And I
good.
would say, you know, just try and stay in touch with people. I mean, if you are a person that is family oriented, you are already ahead of so many other people because those are gems that you cannot pay for, your family members. Friends, good friends, they're not a dime a dozen. They are very few and far between. You need to appreciate the things that do not have monetary value, and in those things you will find the most riches in life, because I've hung out with millionaires that are miserable as hell. I've hung out with the ghettoest people that live up in the pork and beans chewing on crackers, and they happy as hell. It's all about your reality and what you make it and what you appreciate about your life.
It's
I
about your
love
own story. The own
That's
story you
great.
tell yourself.
That's great.
Love it.
So, we wanted to ask you too, Kim, as we asked Anthony, is there anything that you want to plug? Anything you want to say? Like your final thought, last words, because Instagram is reminding me that we only have an hour and it's coming up. And so, so is there any final thoughts to this whole
Well,
discussion?
I see here I'm related to most of the people in here. Hi, y'all.
Yo, shout out to my cousin Yasmin. I see Pastor Earns on here. I see the fam on the chat. What up? What up? What up? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Kim. Kim's in charge. You can see me, Kim Kavolik, on Instagram. If y'all need some privacy help with your businesses, come to Privacy Ref.
Love it.
www.privacyref.com, and
Love
I'll
it.
be more than happy to help you out.
Jeff's cousins got cousins. You know?
Listen, man.
She got
Kim,
connects.
listen, Kim, thank you again, you know, on behalf of Top Shelf. This is my
Thank you.
cousin, one of my favorite cousins, my big sis. You know what I'm saying? She used to punk me when I was younger, but she made me help become the man who I am.
I love
Yo,
it.
I love you, cousin. I'll be in Florida next week. So
Love you too.
hopefully I get a chance to see you.
All right, you guys take care.
You too,
Stay
Jeff.
blessed.
Yo, we're doing our first episodes, bro.
Yo, literally,
Yo,
guys.
we are doing our first episode.
Like, I love this.
No,
I
Yo,
love
shout
this.
out to everybody on the chat, man. Everybody
Yo,
that's checking
shout
in,
out to
Facts.
man.
everybody.
Shout out to everybody, man.
I hope
It's
you're
our
getting
first
some good
time.
nuggets. We really hope you guys are getting some good
Who we
nuggets.
got on there? Who we got on there, man? We got Pastor Earns. We got my
Woo!
cousin
Oh,
Yasmin. We
that's
got
fire. That's
Lexi,
fire.
look
That's
like she
fire.
just checked in. We got the beautiful Joanna. My man Eddie. What up? What up? What up? You know what I'm
Yo,
saying? You know, my Trinity brethren. Who else we got
that's
on
it.
here? We
That's
got
it.
we got some pieces. Yo, we
Top
got
Shelf
Wifey on
Village.
there. Yo, shout out to Miss Beans. You know what I mean? Who else we got on here, man? Dave.
Everybody, shout
Shout out
out
to
to
everybody
y'all for
that's on
tuning
here.
in, man, and rocking with us. Thank you to Anthony Anderson, my boy Anthony. Follow him on Grant. Follow him. Listen to his Road to Victory podcast. Shout out to Kim, man. You know, you got privacy issues. She got privacy tissues. You need to holler at her, bro. You know, and do not click that link. Don't click that link. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, man.
We will be doing more of these top shelf talks. Make sure y'all tune in Monday, 6 p.m. Also, we got an episode coming out tomorrow, our last episode of our first season.
Very special episode at
Very
that.
special
Very
episode.
special
Somebody
episode.
might be on it.
Listen, I'm not
Somebody
gonna
might be
say
on.
who. I'm not gonna say who, but listen, if anybody knows me, that's my little BFFs. That's all I'm gonna say. So please tune in to
And
tomorrow's episode,
Woo,
man. It's gonna
can't
be
title
wait.
of the episode is Who's Checking on These Kids? Who's checking on you? But it's episode 10, guys, Top Shelf. We look forward to chatting with y'all more. We look forward to more great conversations. Remember, Mondays, 6 p.m. Tune in, tune in, tune in.
Make
And we
sure
got
you, and also make sure you subscribe to the podcast.
subscribe.
Make sure you following on us on IG.
yes.
But do everything. Guess what? It's free. It
It's
is
free.
free. It's free to
free.
support.
Free to support.
No,
Listen,
but
you
it's
can listen to
free.
the podcast while you're driving, while you're on the train. You know what I'm saying? While you're getting your hair cut. while you sitting soaking in a hot tub of water, getting your little bubble bath on. You know what I'm saying?
That's
That's
it.
what you like to do. You know what I'm saying? While you sipping on some Grand Marnier or some Henny like I'm
Yo,
doing
wait,
right
we can
now,
put that
whatever it
Grand
is.
Marnier.
Listen, man.
But all you gotta do is support. And always, if you have any feedback or if you want us to talk about something, please let us know. We are
Yeah, we
open
love your
book. We want to
feedback.
give you our thoughts, perspective on our truth. But always, we love you, Top Shelf Village. But we did our first episode.
First Top Shelf Talk. All right, guys.
Love it, man.
So we gonna holler at y'all. Woo! Thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate y'all.